The second project deals with wood. That is the Wat Absonsawan Scriptures Hall Conservation Project. Wat Absonsawan is also situated in Bangkok, but on the other side of the Chao Phraya River, which is called Thonburi. The temple is an ancient place originally built in Ayutthaya period. However, the elements that we see today were built in King Rama III period, when the temple underwent a major re-establishment. So we can see that the major elements in Puttawat area have similar style with those in Wat Thepthidara. On the contrary, however, the scripture hall was built in the style of Ayutthaya period, featuring the entire structure made of wood, built in a pond. These are the major differences when compared to the first project that I have presented. The project was also initiated by the Association of Siamese Architects under royal patronage, and also a case of mutual cooperation between the public organization and general people who were concerned about conservation of cultural heritage, including the volunteer participation in the conservation process. The project started with laying the concept, which was similar to that of the first project, because both are scriptures halls. We wanted to revive the original features of the halls, intending as a means to pay homage to the Buddha, since the hall can be interpreted as the representation of Dhamma. One of the most impressive features of the hall is the wall decoration, which is beautifully made with color glass mosaics, a very rare example. This feature, therefore, is the most important, which we aim to conserve. On the other hand, some of the elements which we had to replace or add, we applied the traditional building technique and craftsmanship. The surrounding of the hall was also part of our project, which has to be managed to serve as an appropriate setting for this architectural heritage. Implementation process was the same as the first project, that is, study and research from documents, old photographs, etc., to learn about the history of the building, followed by survey and making drawings of the entire temple complex in order to learn the system of the site, especially water drainage and site planning. Then the volunteers worked on recording all details and made the drawings of the building and all detail before conservation. We also had archaeological work to study the foundation system of the building. This part was interesting because, as you can see, the hall is located inside a pond, so we had to pump the water out. But before that, we have to move the water animals like fish and turtles to another place temporarily during our work. The archaeological excavation revealed a greatly interesting information on traditional foundation system of wood architecture, as well as the pond. These are the techniques and systems which have been discontinued. We don't do that nowadays. We also had structural examination because the building has been used for keeping the scriptures and texts inside wooden cabinets in full capacity. The cabinets and documents were so heavy that we were afraid that it might cause the building to sunk and slant. Firstly, the scriptures cabinets inside of the hall were moved. Then we made conservation design. We also raised funds by organizing Papa event that all people could contribute to the conservation of the hall. And the fine art department also topped up the remaining costs as before. The implementation was carried out by thorough examination of all wood elements, making shop drawings to determine the species of each wood piece, its condition, degree of damage or deterioration, and the conservation decision whether it has to be replaced or repaired, etc. The replacement of wood still used the original wood jointing techniques and the same species of wood as the original. Elements which had been altered, we tried to replace with those of original features as much as possible. As for decorative parts, for example, the pediments, which are decorated by gilding and color glass mosaics, we try to revive the complete original features with original coloring. The ceiling design was found that it was somehow incorrect, so we removed the paint to see the original design and made a conservation design based on the original. The mural paintings, which were in a nearly complete condition, as well as the glass mosaic decoration of exterior walls, we used preservation process by cleaning and stabilizing the original material in place. Missing parts were repaired by the original glass mosaic, which were loosened and fallen on the floor around the wall. We did not use any new glass mosaic because the color was different from the originals. Other parts of the building were restored to their original features. For example, the roof, which from archaeological study, the original roof tiles were unglazed terracotta tiles. So we changed the tile to unglazed terracotta as original. The paints, we follow the archaeological evidence and we use the same paint color in our conservation work. Buildings in the surrounding area were also restored, especially the bell hall. The landscape was restored by asking the house which intruded the pond to move, so that the original setting of the hall has been revived to enhance the beautiful sculptures hall architecture. All pitch and totals were moved back when the conservation was completed. The conservation when completed could be said that the meaning of the sculptures hall was brought back successfully. The techniques applied was different from the first project since the materials are different. The wood elements and parts were replaced as necessary, but the original ones were retained as much as possible to conserve the originality of the hall.